We know people have goals to be their best, to transform their life, but we know to do that, you have to make transformation a daily practice. And doing that is difficult because the world is so challenging and chaotic. So we are always working on how do we make it even easier for people to be at their best. And that's why we came up with the Habit Mechanic Games that is going to sit inside Habit Mechanic University. So many people already are members of that group. So we're going to make the games the central pillar to encourage people to do the things they need to do every day, just spending 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at the end of the day, that give them the very best chance of actually transforming the things in their life that they want to transform, whether that's to improve how they sleep or how they manage stress or how they're productive or how they lead and manage or how they parent, whatever it is, how they run their business, whatever it is. It's not just a thing for individuals, it's a thing for teams as well. So yeah, we're really, really excited. Elite sport, and this is not elite, the Habit Mechanic Games, but we understand sport. We met through sport, Andrew. Andrew Foster, who people have been introduced to recently via the pod, we met through sport. So we know how powerful the mechanics of games are for rewarding behaviour and engaging people into focused and deliberate practice. So we want to harness everything we know about that and plug them into the Habit Mechanic system.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to tell a sporting story, which I know you've used many times before to illustrate this, and it's a really fascinating one. So keep listening for that. But just tell us, Jon, how will the Habit Mechanic Games actually work? What does it all involve?
Yeah, so the key is to help people to improve their brain states. And those familiar with the Habit Mechanic system understand that our brain is a bit like a battery. It literally is. Runs on electricity and chemicals. It only has so much charge in every 24-hour period. And we know, having worked with over 20,000 people now, that those people that are really nailing it, they are spending that 24-hour period in certain brain states. They're spending a good chunk of time in the recharge brain state. They're spending some time in the medium charge brain state. And they're also, every working day, able to get into those high charge brain states. And many people will have seen that sort of arrowhead or pyramid type shape where you've got the recharge at the bottom, the medium charge in the middle, and the high charge at the top. So the games are all about making it easier for people to move their brain state profile from wherever it is right now to really sharpening up that arrowhead. And what we want people to do in the games is to, every day, or most days, it's up to you, turn up into the app and create a T plan, do an end of day reflection, share your willpower story, like and comment and help other people. And every time you do that, you get points. So you accumulate points, and we're going to have a leaderboard. We're also going to have, we already have live coaching and training sessions, but they're now going to be points based for attendance. And we're going to go on this learning journey together. The whole point is to move our brain states from wherever they are right now to a better place by the end of the month. And this first games is just going to run for a shortened period. So we're going to go from the 1st of December through to the 19th. And then going into next year, we'll have a full month games. But at the end of the month, whoever gets into the top 20 on the leaderboard, which is reflected by the points that you get, plus following some of the other community rules, you're going to go into a prize draw. And in the prize draw, there are over $25,000 worth of prizes available. The top prizes are one-to-one support. So the top prize is a full day with me, either in person or online. Could be for just one person, or it could be a small team of people, where I'm just going to give you the full experience that I would give a client. I'm going to help you to create your own, transformational program. The next prize is working for half a day with our head of coaching, Andrew Foster, in a similar vein. The next prize is a longer form session with Andrew Foster. And then we have smaller prizes. So there are 10 prizes to be won. Top 20 will go into a draw. If you get into the top 10, your name will actually be entered into the draw twice. So you have twice a chance of winning. We're doing it like that because it's not all about getting more points. We don't want people to be spending all their day in the app. That isn't the point. We want them to use the app as a vehicle, as a tool, to make it easier to get everything else done in your day, including high quality sleep, but also high quality focus work and high quality time with your family or whoever you spend your downtime with.
So it's as simple as using the tools in the app, engaging in the community in the app, and being recognised for this with the point system and working your way up the leaderboard. That sounds fantastic. Why now? I'm going to move on now to the sporting story I mentioned. I'll give people a clue. It's about a person from the history of British athletics, Sir Roger Bannister. If you don't know him, he was actually the first person to run a mile in under 4 minutes, and the so-called 4-minute mile was a real something that was really talked about at the time and hugely significant in British sport and world sport at the time, John. So no more from me. Please tell the story and explain why it's such a great point of comparison for us for the Habit Mechanic Games.
Yeah, Roger Bannister, many people know when he was the first person to run the sub 4-minute mile. He was studying to be a doctor at Oxford University. What many people don't know, he was also a research scholar, and he was a scholar in physiology. So he was undertaking physiology research, and he was actually looking at the role of oxygen in running, in distance running, in his discipline. And he was using modern technology like treadmills and gas exchange, peripheral measurement indices, like you would see in a modern day lab. But this was in the early 1950s, and he used those insights to actually change. When he started to understand the centrality of oxygen in his discipline, he used those insights to change the way that he trained and also actually the way that he ran in the real event. And what's so fascinating about the Bannister story is he was not the only person at that time trying to break that record. It was a 3-horse race between an American called Wes Santee, an Australian called John Landy, and they were all trying their very, very best. But where Bannister got the advantage was, instead of just looking at his training methods and his running times, he was actually looking at what was going on inside the body. He was taking this in-depth scientific approach, whereas his competitors were taking what we would call a black box approach. They weren't really considering what went on inside their bodies. They were just looking more at outcomes. And that story is a great way to understand why the habit mechanic system is different. Because the habit mechanic system is taking the Bannister approach. Everything else out there is a black box approach. And we were just talking about some data earlier today, Andrew, where we can see now very, very clearly these are studies of nearly 60,000 participants in structured, best-in-class, evidence-based, as everyone likes to always say, is it evidence-based? I mean, you can write a paper about anything, so technically anything could be evidence-based, but best-in-class, evidence-based, gold standard approaches to changing behaviour are only impacting a very tiny number of people that engage in it. And we can see that, for example, those who are doing CBT, structured interventions, 58% of people get no benefit from that. What I also find fascinating is in those types of studies, people doing the control conditions where they don't do anything, still 19% of those people make improvements just of their own devices. So when you do the math, what we're seeing is that these best-in-class, evidence-based approaches, for 77% of people that engage in them, they have no impact on them, no measurable impact. This is why that mechanic system is so different, because it's not a black box approach, it's understanding how brains work. And what we've designed inside Habit Mechanic University and the Habit Mechanic system are very specific brain-based and behaviour change design tools that we know they are tried and tested at helping people to do better. But you won't get any benefits if you don't use the tools. So what we're doing with the games is, in the spirit of Roger Bannister, we are making it easier for people to practice in a really deliberate, powerful way that actually changes their behavior. We know people are doing things every single day to try to do better. They're looking for this tip and this hack and that tactic, but they're not working because they're based on black box theories. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to engage in the habit mechanic system. Again, people read the book and they get excited, but then they fall down because they're not able to put this stuff into practice on a daily basis. So we're saying, come into the app 10 minutes a day. We'll guarantee that by doing that, if you do it consistently, you're going to get a much better brain state balance. You're going to free up at least an extra 3 hours of peak cognitive performance every day. You're going to do that by getting a better balance of brain states, so supercharging your recharge to start with, and then getting the right balance between your medium charge states and your high charge states. And also, whilst you do that, you're going to have fun. You're going to win points. You're going to get the chance to win prizes. You're going to get the chance to help other people and be a role model, not just for people inside of the games, but also for people in your day-to-day life. So we're just really excited by this.
Yeah, and I have to say that opportunity to win that long-form personal session with yourself, Jon, is something really that is not available to many people. Obviously, you do a lot of corporate work yourself, and that's the context where that's most often used. So it really is a golden opportunity for people who might just be users of the Habit Mechanic University app to get access to you in that way, which I think will be fantastic for them. Thanks for giving us the overview, Jon. Just remind us then, how can people get involved in the Habit Mechanic University games?
Yeah, we'll go to the Tougher Minds website, and I'm sure there'll be a link in the show notes here, and you can go to the Habit Mechanic University page, and you can get a 14-day free trial. Download the Apple app, download the Google app, and just get going. So 14-day free trial, so you don't have to pay anything to experience the benefits. For me as well, Andrew, and I'm speaking to a lot of clients about this at the moment, you mentioned corporate clients, AI is here and it's coming, and it's going to significantly impact most people's jobs. It doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily going to replace you if you can get your brain state sorted out, because there are things that AI can't do and won't be able to do anytime soon, that when humans, when they're at their best, can do much better than AI. So I think as we make this transition to adopting more next gen AI into our lives and our work, then this is going to be, the cornerstone. Brain state management is going to be even increasingly the cornerstone of being healthy, being happy, being at your best. And inside Habit Mechanic University and Habit Mechanic games, you can build super habits whilst having fun, whilst helping others, whilst winning prizes, and just making it as easy as possible for you to be at your best in as little as 10 minutes per day.